Hey, if you've bought insurance for any amount of time as a construction owner, then you know one of the biggest frustrations you'll probably ever experience is last minute renewals. It feels like you're backed into a corner and you have to make a decision and if you don't go with the one option you have, you're basically stuck, right? And you need insurance to operate, to get on job sites. This is something I hear from people all the time. Hey guys, thanks for joining the Business Insurance Playbook. My name is Micah Salas. I'm an insurance advisor. Been helping construction companies mainly for over 15 years now. Help with all different areas of insurance and risk management. The whole goal of this channel is simple, and that is to simplify insurance for you, to take common frustrations that I hear from contractors and to give you a little look behind the curtain as to maybe why this is occurring and what you guys can do to solve the problem. All right, so the problem obviously in this case is a last minute renewal, and it's just frustrating. I want to talk a little bit about why this might happen. I think first and foremost, it comes down to probably communication is the biggest thing. The second reason is maybe a little bit of fear from your current agent, because sometimes in the industry, agents get burned by people who get their number too soon, and then they feel like, oh my gosh, if I share my numbers sooner than later, they could take this out to a different agent and screw me over. Now, I don't agree with that mindset. If I'm an agent, that's not how I operate, but I'm just telling you how some agents operate. So I think it's communication and it's fear. So let's talk about how to never have a last minute renewal again. And this might seem really basic, but you got to actually hold your agent accountable on this stuff. So let's just, obviously you have an agent. Let's just say your insurance is renewing June 1st. What should be done every single year is 4 months prior to that, you need to have a meeting on your calendar with your broker called a pre-renewal strategy meeting. The goal of this meeting is to cover a few different things. One is, hey, our renewal is coming up 6/1. It's now January. Let's talk about that. What does the market look like? What's our current experience with our current carrier, right? Are we happy with them? Is there stuff we want to see improved? And then also, you should be getting from your broker, hey, what's the market look like? Are rates going up, down? And then what is a game plan for this renewal, right? Are we shopping aggressively? Are we going to go to just two markets? Are we going to go to no markets but renegotiate with the current carrier? These are all things that should be hashed out and addressed at the pre-renewal strategy meeting. And then the last main piece of this meeting is that you guys agree upon a delivery date, right? Now, just know this, you probably can't get your numbers more than, I would say, 4 to 5 weeks out. That'd be very rare, but I'd rather have it 4 to 5 weeks out than a week out, or 5 days out, which is a lot of what you guys face. So how do you get that, right? So you set that date with your broker. So if you're June 1st, I would set it for May 1st or May 5th, somewhere in that week. You set the date, and then you got to work backwards from that date. Now this, if you're working with a new broker who's trying to provide you a quote, or your current agent again is remarketing it, you might need to start this whole process sooner, here on out. But you work backwards from, let's say, May 1st. That's when you want to see numbers by. So your broker's got to get his numbers by April, let's just call it April 20th, right? He needs a week, 10 days to review it, to go back and forth and all that stuff. Now you go back from that time, he has to have the submission out to the underwriters, meaning all the renewal updates. He wants to know your payroll information, your sales forecast, your employee counts, your vehicle list, all that stuff. He has to have that to them, I would say 6 to 7 weeks before April 20th, right? So if you go back, let's just say, 8 weeks before that, that puts you at essentially February 20th. He needs to have that submission in to be safe, right? And to give his underwriter plenty of time to make sure that they can do their best work, because that's what you want. You want the best price too, right? And so he needs to submit that by February 20th. Okay, so that means he needs to get that information from you sometime before that. So he should be talking with you, have that pre-renewal strategy meeting, let's just say in January, mid-January, and then he should be getting the updates. Now, getting the updates, what a lot of people conflate here is a pre-renewal strategy meeting with just getting updates. A good agent will be proactive, and they won't just flip you blank applications. They're going to actually work with you, maybe set up a quick 20-30 minute phone call, say, hey, I just want to gather this information. They're going to get all the updates, make sure the ducks in a row, make sure the story looks good and presentable, and they're going to go out to market with it, like I said, hopefully by about February 20th if you're a 6/1, because you want to see those numbers May 1st. That's the key. So when I talk about communication, that kind of solves the communication piece. You've got to have a spreadsheet of this built out every year. And now you're a good agent, again, will be proactive, and they should be doing this. So if I own a construction company and I find myself having to tell my broker, like, hey, are we going to meet this year? Or the renewal's coming up. Maybe that's a sign that your broker's not really thinking about your business as much as they should be. Maybe they're too busy, right? I don't know what the reason is. Maybe they've gotten complacent. You need to answer that question for yourself. And again, that's maybe a sign that you should start taking calls with other agents, people who will be a little bit more proactive, and take your insurance more seriously. Okay, so we now that's the timeline of what everything looks like. Now let's talk about the fear part. This is really real. Uh, Again, it's business. So you got agents who don't want to lose the account. And so what typically happens is they're even afraid to give you indications because a lot of times you can get a kind of rough estimate from a carrier about 60 days out from the renewal date. But they won't but the agent might not want to give it to you if it's bad news. Again, I'm of the opinion you should. That's what I do. But there's a lot of agents that don't, right? They operate out of a fear-based mindset because they could get burned. I've gotten burned on this before. You get a number, you're just sharing with the client to do the right thing. Doesn't mean that they're going to accept it. Doesn't mean you're not going to go try to find a better option. It just means you're being transparent. Now you tell that with you, the business owners, right, the construction company, and then you get scared, and then you immediately go get quotes from another agent, even though you're pretty happy. See, this is what happens, and it kind of creates this fear effect. And agents have been burned a couple of times, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I'm just going to keep the information close to my vest until we got all the details worked out, and then I'm going to present once everything's finalized. And that's how you probably get down to seeing numbers at the last minute. I think some agents are kind of being malicious, but I think a lot of them are just being fear based, if I'm being honest. And so the biggest way I found to avoid that again is that pre-renewal strategy meeting up front, but always being transparent. Like if you want to go talk with another agent, that's totally fine, right? You should vet out some of your vendors and the suppliers and the expenses and the partners you're working with. That's prudent business practice. But don't just necessarily go to market every year with another agent and still take markets that your current agent could go to, especially if you're happy with them, right? This is why the previous videos I talk about how to select an agent and how the game works are so critical to watch. Because once you get that, what you should do is when you talk with other agents, it's not going to market necessarily. Yeah, have them do due diligence, have them review your information, have them give you your opinion on the market, but then have an open dialogue with your broker. Just like, hey man, it's been 2-3 years, I haven't looked. I'm talking with another agent. Do you have anything you want to tell me before? I just wanted to be totally transparent with you. You give your broker the opportunity by being upfront, honest, transparent with them to kind of show their true colors, right? Some guys might get really defensive here. Some might try to make you feel dumb, whatever. And if that's the case, then that's a red flag, right? But I think a good agent will ultimately be like, hey, thanks for sharing that, man. Like I said, here's the markets I'm going to. We got our plan in place. All I ask is that I have access to the main markets I want to go to. If you want to quote with someone else, if they have a market I don't have, by all means, go there. But I feel really confident with the plan we have and with the markets we're going to. So all I would ask is that you respect that. And if you like what we're doing, let me go to these 5 or 6 markets that I want to go to. See, those are the conversations that aren't being had. But if they were had between business owner and broker, I think a lot of these problems of last minute renewals would just go away because that would eliminate a lot of the fear and that would eliminate, of course, the communication problems. So just want to share this. I think it's a really hot button issue. Again, see it all the time. If you're watching this and you're saying, man, I'm not getting any of this communication, or I just feel like our renewal process is very reactive, let's talk. Like I said, I got 15 years of experience. I'd be happy to just talk with you. No obligation. I won't twist your arm. And I'll just kind of give you my honest take and my thoughts on your situation and maybe share some different ideas that could help you out. My number is in the info. My email's on our YouTube page here. So feel free to check me out on LinkedIn as well. And if I can help you, great. If not, that's okay too. But if you got anything out of this video, do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up, share it with someone, comment below if you have any questions. Happy to help out any way possible.